If you're looking to add a furry friend to the family, you want to make sure that Fido is the right fit. So we're joined by Fulton from the Calgary Humane Society with tips on how to pick the perfect pup. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And usually you have company in tow, but this time it's a conversation that is valuable. And I think that many people fall in love with the idea of having a pet.
Yeah.
But what do you recommend for people in terms of if they're thinking, well, I do want to get a dog, I do want to invite someone new into the family.
Of course.
Where do we start?
Well, let's get it out of the way right away that if you do choose to get a dog, we hope that you would come down to Calgary Humane Society and choose an adoptable pet.
Yes.
The first thing that we're going to say when you do come in and sit down with one of our adoptions counselors is, what kind of research have you done? What kind of groundwork have you done looking into what kind of a pet would work best for you?
Right.
And a lot of times people will have some limiting factors right off the bat that will preclude them from certain breeds or sizes, such as allergies. If and this is very common. A lot of people are allergic to dogs, and so they'll think, oh, well, I'll just get a hypoallergenic dog like a poodle.
Right.
But we want to make sure that people understand that just because it says hypoallergenic, people can be allergic to the fur, the saliva, or the dander.
Skin,
yeah,
right.
And so I've had a poodle, and lots of people were allergic to my poodle. The other thing with limitations could be condo board approval, or if you have a landlord that won't allow you to have a pet, or a different breed of pet, that kind of thing. And then the other one is the other people in the home. And I think that for me, this is the biggest one. Let's say you have a roommate or a family member. You're really keen on the dog, but perhaps they aren't. Or perhaps they have, a fear of dogs, that kind of thing.
Right.
So taking that into account first.
And lifestyle is a big factor too. You may fall in love with the idea of having a small dog and think it might not take a lot of care, but it's actually a very high energy breed.
Absolutely. And I think that based on my experience, I see the two polar opposite ends of that spectrum. I see people that come in that like the idea of being like a little frou-frou dog owner, and I see the other end of people that come in and like the idea of like the big dog.
Yeah.
And both dogs are very different, and they have very different requirements and very different skill levels. And so understanding that when you are getting any kind of a dog, that you're not getting it for the aesthetics, or you like the idea of being a husky owner, or like the idea of being a golden retriever owner, but that you are getting the dog based on your own skill level. So if you've never had a dog before, maybe getting that very large Rottweiler isn't a good idea, and maybe you should start out with something smaller or something a little bit easier to handle.
Right.
And making sure that if you work late nights and if you live in a high-rise apartment, one bedroom, that maybe a border collie isn't a good idea, but maybe a pug is. So just understanding your own, where you are in your own life, and having realistic expectations of what you can feasibly manage within your life and what kind of a breed would correspond to that.
Yeah, and managing expectations, research, so important. Do you guys help with that fit with a pet that's appropriate for you? Yeah,
and for the most part, when people come in and sit down with our counselors, we go through a lifestyle survey. And it's not a test or anything like that, but it's just a conversation that helps us to get an idea of what kind of lifestyle you have that would allow us to guide you to whichever dog that we have currently in the adoption center. And so we definitely encourage people to give us as much information as possible, because that's going to help us to find the best possible match. And remember, it's just like setting people up on a date. What works for me might not work for you, and so we try our best, but at the end of the day, every single dog is going to be different, and every single person is going to be different.
Totally. Okay, you can find the right fit for you at the Calgary Humane Society. You have many pets up for adoption. Okay, great stuff. Thanks very much, Phil.
Thanks for having me.
As always, you are a wealth of knowledge. On over to our Andrew Schultz, a beautiful forecast.